Bird's eye view from the paddock at Belmont Park in this perfect October weather, not lost on the fans or the horses or the riders. And we're glad you're settled in for the next 30 minutes here on MSG Plus. One of the best times of the day. We say so with a good bit of modesty. And it's Jason Blewett, Richard Migliore alongside. And we say it all the time, Mig, but we never lie on this show. We're always candid. Saturday, at this time of the year in Belmont Park with racing, just goes hand in hand.
It really does. The weather's spectacular. It's cool enough without being too cool. We got the rain out of the way last night, and it really jolts those memories in me of when I was a fan, long before I became a jockey, before I was involved in the game on a professional level. Just as a fan, being here, looking at the horse in the paddock, great memories.
October, we love it at Belmont. 3 weeks out from the Breeders' Cup, the site of today's Grade 1 QE2 for the 3-year-old fillies at Keeneland as we go out for the call with Kurt Becker.
For running room in fourth between horses. Olorda is in fifth. Feathered has a long way to come. So does Sentiero Italia, who's on the far outside, trying to catch her eminency. Olorda and Sentiero Italia coming down the outside. Final furlong of the Queen Elizabeth II Challenge Cup. Her eminency and Miss Temple City coming on. Sentiero Italia third. Miss Temple City is tackling the leader, her eminency, but running out of time. Head-bobbing photo for the win. What a finish.
Wide trip for the beaten 3-5 favorite, Sentiero Italia. Her eminency with Florent Giroux, the upset, just refused to lose.
Yeah, a filly that had threatened at getting a Grade 1 in the past was second in the Del Mar Oaks. She might have, hampered the runner-up a little bit. I never did see a head-on, so it's hard to tell. The way Drayden Van Dyke stood up on Miss Temple City led me to believe that there could be a problem. There was an inquiry, but they left it official, and without the benefit of a head-on shot, I can't say whether it was the right call or the wrong call.
And regardless of that, two big photos in a span of about 5 minutes for Grand Motion. Sit tight if you haven't seen today's Knickerbocker. A furious finish down to the wire on the Belmont Park turf. Now, the day began for most of us earlier. Way earlier, in fact, and the horses were up breezing here at Belmont and upstate at Saratoga Racecourse. And Keir McLaughlin, we are happy to report, after postponing the breeze for Frosted for about 24 hours, had the Wood winner and Pennsylvania Derby winner through a crisp half-mile breeze up at Green Tree.
Yeah, and I actually spoke with Kieran earlier. He said he went beautifully. Perfect, just what they wanted. They couldn't be happy with him. He breezed on his own. Now, it's interesting. Kieran was supposed to catch a flight this morning along with a bunch of the riders that were going down there, Joel Rosario and Javier Castellano, and their flight was canceled last night. They all wound up having to charter a private plane, but they all made it down there. So Kieran got off his commercial flight and jumped on the private plane, and they all made it to Keeneland.
Glad they made it down there safe and sound. We'll have them all here at Belmont Park tomorrow afternoon. Columbus Day weekend, in fact, in full swing. We've got that live racing on Monday. Linda Rice saw plenty of action here over Big Sandy and, of course, on the turf courses. And her day began early on, and both her two talented New York bred sprinters put in breezes. Palace in 102-1 and La Verdad in 101-2.
Yeah, and these horses don't need to show their speed every time they work. These are the kind of works that just get them to the next race, more or less maintenance kind of moves. We know La Verdad's very capable, going extremely fast when they need her to, and it seems like when she's got her game face on, she blows out of the gate and goes right to the lead. But Palace 102 and a fifth, La Verdad 101 and 2, and I'm sure that they're excited and anticipating the Breeders' Cup.
And having to fork up $100,000 to get La Verdad nominated. She's a New York bred filly by Yes It's True, a real modest background, and I guess she was never nominated before she was foaled or when she was on the ground as a young foal, and they got to put up six figures to get her into the BC Filly and Mare Sprint.
I believe now every time a foal is born, I believe it's $600 to make them Breeders' Cup eligible. Boy, you can pay me now or you can pay me a lot more later.
No kidding. And Powis, by the way, standing at Spendthrift Farm in 2016 when his racing career is over. And the show's not over. In fact, we're just getting underway. We've got a lot to bring you on a gorgeous, picture-perfect Saturday at Belmont. None more important in the race column than today's 56th running of the Knickerbocker as we send it up the track announcer Larry Colmus.
War Dancer came out very well, all included, and on the far outside it's Cage Fighter. They're followed by Hathersal, who's away running in fourth. Mr. Speaker in behind horses. Gets into a good position early on here in fifth, 4 lengths off the lead. And then it's back to Blingo to the outside of a ground-saving Middleburg round that turn. Legendary is next, and Messi is the early trailer. Messi is about 9 lengths off of front-running Cage Fighter. who completes an opening quarter mile in an easy 25 and 1/5 seconds. War Dancer a length and a half behind, running in second. Hathersall is third to the inside. Then it's all included. Mr. Speaker in between horses running in fifth, 5 lengths off the lead, and then Legendary, Blingo, and on the inside comes Middleburg. Messi still at the back of the field. Messi about 9 lengths behind as they continue their run up the backstretch with a long shot. Cage Fighter up top and a 50 and 1/2 mile. Not much pace on it all here. War Dancer 3/4 of a length off of Cage Fighter. And then comes Legendary, who's now third and on the outside. Hathersall is fourth. Then all included Mr. Speaker. On the inside comes Middleburg. Messi still 9 lengths behind. And Blingo. Around the far turn, Cage Fighter, War Dancer. And on their outside, it's Legendary. 3/4 went in 1:14 flat. These three take them around the far turn. Mr. Speaker getting an outside run, outside of all included. As they come to the top of the stretch, still Cage Fighter. War Dancer is there. Legendary. Mr. Speaker now set down on the outside of them. Into the final furlong. Still Cage Fighter. Here's Legendary. Mr. Speaker on the outside. Messi has kicked it in, and he's closing in the center of the course with each and every stride. Here comes Messi down the center of the course. On the outside, looks like he got there. Messi and Cage Fighter right on the wire together. And then it was Mr. Speaker.
What a brush over the last furlong for Messi, as Cage Fighter Mig had everything his own way on the front end, but Messi, quite simply, would not be denied.
No, he would not. Messi really stretched out, leveled off, came and got an unfortunate loser in Cage Fighter, who just got that picture-perfect trip, and it looked like he was home free at one point. But Messier, wow.
I like that.
That was a Freudian slip. I had the Rangers on my mind. Messi, very good, and going 1.1 1/8. I thought might have been a little too short, but he got there.
And maybe you've got the Red Smith down the line over at the Big A. Regardless, we have Johnny V front and center alongside the Mig.
Johnny, Messi came with a really big run. Did you think he had that kind of turn of foot?
You know, I did. You know, when he ran here the first time in Belmont, you know, we were last in the quarter pole, and then he came out running. I mean, going a little shorter today, I was a little worried about it, but, you know, they were going so slow, and he's pulling me all the way to the 1/2 mile pole, and I got to stop in the 1/2 mile pole. I said, well, this is going to be harder now to let him go and try to catch up. But once he got going to the quarter pole, and I pulled him out, it took him a little bit to get going. But once he switched down the lane, he started getting, I think I'm going to get there. You know, it was little by little, and he had a nice kick coming home.
You're 3 for 4 on him now. The only bad start was last time in the Sword Dancer. He ran so poorly there. What went wrong?
He was so bad. Everything was wrong that day for him. I mean, he was sweaty. He got all wound up and he never settled. I mean, even he was behind the horses. He was pulling the whole way around. They finally want to let him go. He didn't know what to do. And I think the ground was a little hard as well. That when I let him go, he was a little hesitant with the ground as well. But like I said, he pulls so much the whole way around, all the way to the, you know, 1 mile 3/8, he went all the way around to the 3/8 pole again, pulling. When I finally let him go, he just didn't have anything.
What do you think his best trip is? He's won at 1 1/8, 1 1/4, 1 3 furlongs. What do you think?
I think the 1 1/4 will probably be the perfect distance for him, you know, because even if they go a little slow, he's going to catch up to it. And in these kind of races here, 1 1/8, they normally start running, you know, down the lane. At least 1 1/4, even if they go a little slower, but they're gonna sprint home. So he has a better chance that way. Today, they couldn't sprint away. You know, the ground's a little softer, so they cannot get away from him, and he was there the whole time. So it kind of benefit for our benefit today.
Great job.
Thank you.
Man, Johnny, very animated in that post-race discussion, and why not? This German-bred turned some heads, and he's now 3 for 4 in the U.S.
You know, I think it means so much more to Johnny when he wins for people that he has a good relationship with. And you think about, you know, his relationship with Todd Pletcher comes to mind first, but he did win a Kentucky Derby for Graham Motion, and I know they've developed a very close relationship. It just seems like at this stage of his career, he gets a little more animated and enjoys it just a little bit more when he's got that, you know, a connection with people.
Mm-hmm. As far as watching a single jockey ride, nobody makes me happier than John Velasquez. So strong, and will, like Johnny, keep it tight, will be professional and strong down to the wire. On the other side of this timeout, will speed to the opening leg of the late pick 4.
The new Parks Fall Festival will double purses for each of its 32 live racing days. What an opportunity for Pennsylvania breds. In an open maiden special, PA breds will run for over $100,000. So be there at Parks in the fall.
Hello, I'm Brian Sanfratello. Last year, we paid $33 million to PA Breds in the form of breeder awards, owner bonuses, and restricted race purses. Our Equine Coalition Group is united in the pursuit of making sure that we receive every dollar we deserve. And that's why our Racehorse Development Fund has been constant in the past 4 years. Please go to our website at www.pabred.com or give me a call at 610-444-1050.
It's a family game after all. Nicholas Brown, Riley Brown, and Reagan Brown. These are the three children and beautiful children of trainer Bruce Brown. Bruce, a good man, a family guy, and he actually had a nice winner earlier today on the program, a big long shot. $35, speaking of Johnny V, there he is looking pretty chilly aboard the tough near white mare, Discreet Mark, winning last year's Ticonderoga. We make more memories this coming Empire Showcase Day, October 24th. Believe it or not, just 2 weeks away, and I like Bruce Brown. I like Nicholas as well, who, tell you, another couple cold days on Talking Horses for me. He might be sitting in this chair.
I tell you, I love seeing him come through the racing office with his dad, and it warms your heart to see even that far away the next generation, or maybe 2 generations removed, of the people that are going to be carrying the flag in this game.
All right, race number 7, we go there. Next on Belmont Insider, as things have settled down in the quiet paddock. It was packed earlier in the day in a big field, in fact, as Larry Colmus gets us through the state-bred allowance optional claimer.
They're off. Wild Night at the Opera on the inside broke well. Now to the outside. There goes Moore's NT. Moore's NT up to grab the lead. And now rushing into contention. Talk Therapy takes second. Wild Night at the Opera third toward the inside. In a bit of a tight spot there. And so too was Foxhall Drive, who had to steady onto the backstretch. Then Analysis, who's moved up a spot into fourth. And they're being followed by Noosh's Tail. Then Make a Decision on the inside. Ocala Jim, Payment Terms. And East Bay Lodge at the back, 25-3 was the first quarter. Moving up the backstretch. And Wild Night at the Opera has now taken the lead in front by a neck. Moore's NT to the outside is second. Payment Terms is going up. And Payment Terms wants to run right now. Jose Lezcano trying to keep him quiet, but Payment Terms is going up and after the lead now to the outside as the field races for the turn. Moore's NT is running in second. Wild Night at the Opera back into third on the inside. Analysis Talk Therapy next, and then comes Noosh's Tail to the outside. They're followed by Ocala Jim. Down toward the inside, Foxhall Drive. Make a Decision is 6 lengths off the lead, and East Bay Lodge at the back of the field. They make their way around the far turn now. And it is Moore's NT on the inside. Right alongside his Payment Terms. These two, 1-2, as they come toward the top of the stretch. Noosh's Tail now rallying up on the outside and up into third. Make a Decision is coming on. Analysis is in contention. Wild Night at the Opera is down on the inside, and they're into the final 16th. And it is Moore's NT, but here on the outside comes Make a Decision with Ocala Jim, and they go by, and they're going to be 1-2. Make a Decision over Ocala Jim. Then Moore's NT and Payment Terms.
Not a bad street fight on the Belmont turf between 2 old class horses and Ocala Jim, and Make a Decision.
Make a Decision. You saw him coming with that big wide sweeping move. And Johnny Velasquez said something I thought very telling in his interview. There was just enough give in the ground. Maybe it wasn't soft per se, but it certainly wasn't helping speed, and it seemed like helping the horse making the last run. But a nice race between 2 hard hitters.
And a survival of a steward's inquiry and a jockey's objection. Jose Ortiz and Make a Decision. Looked like Jose dropped his left rein there, nearing the wire. Mike Maker off the claim, the Ramseys, and he's a New York bred by Medaglia d'Oro. Jose would come back in race number 8, favored in fact at 4-5 in the Black and Cherry of the Phipps stable for Shug McGahee on reload and a high quality allowance on the Widener.
Fredericksburg, Take the Stand, and Not a Cat But a Llama, all with early speed. And then it's Mr. Commons on the far outside, Captain Gogan, and El Jefe Grande up the backstretch. Not a Cat But a Llama goes at it with Fredericksburg, and Take the Stand is taken in hand, 2.5 lengths off of them. And they're being followed by Bumbagia, who runs in fourth up the backstretch. Then Reload and Mr. Commons right together. And that first quarter was in 23 1/5 seconds. Captain Gogan is about 7 lengths off the lead. El Jefe Grande, last of the 8. Up the backstretch, Fredericksburg is the leader. Not a cat but a llama. Pressing Fredericksburg up the backstretch. They're a half length apart. And then it's Take the Stand. Bumbagia, Mr. Commons on the outside. And Reload is down at the rail. He's 4.5 lengths off the lead. Captain Gogan's alongside of Reload. And El Jefe Grande is the trailer. Fredericksburg, Not a cat but a llama. Bumbagia, length off of them. 47-2 for a half mile. Mr. Commons is there on the far outside. In behind the leaders comes Take the Stand, who's running in 5th. But just 2 lengths off the lead. Then Captain Gogan. Reload is down on the inside. No place to go right now for Reload. He's got about 4.5 lengths to make up as Not a cat but a llama takes the lead at the top of the stretch. Fredericksburg, Reload still needs a place to go. It's the rail, and here he comes through an opening on the inside. Not a cat but a llama, Fredericksburg and Reload. On the far outside, it's Take the Stand in 4th. It's Reload. Reload comes through on the inside to take the lead late, and Reload is pulling away to win it by a length over Fredericksburg, and then came Not a cat but a llama and Take the Stand.
He was the class, and he got a good ride from Jose Ortiz, who won 4 races today, and Reload did just that, dropping down in class.
Yeah, I think he found a field to his liking, and he did overcome some trouble around the turn, but, you know, I'll take the trouble when you get to save that kind of ground. You know, we've talked about it before, and we talked about it again last night, how earlier in the year we were like, man, this could be one of the best milers in the country, and he never really made the next step, but it was nice to see him get back to the winner's circle. Maybe something else to build on.
Yeah, nice little confidence booster here. Shug McGahee, Jose Ortiz. Let's see what else happened on a gorgeous Saturday at Belmont from the opener at 12:55 through the nightcap with 2-year-old filly maidens at around 6 p.m.
Right here, Copernicus by almost 3 at the top of the stretch. Ali Sarro trying to cut into the gap and is doing it as they come down to the 8th pole. Down toward the inside, it's Mac Miller. And here comes Mr. Popsicle also putting in a bid. Fit to Keeps on the far outside. Copernicus, Ali Sarro, Mr. Popsicle, and Mac Miller, the 4 of them. Here's Mac Miller. Mac Miller up the fence. Mac Miller won it. And then it was Ali Sarro, Mr. Popsicle, and Copernicus. Hit It Once More is up and after the lead, but here comes Celtic Chaos. Celtic Chaos on the outside, right up alongside of Hit It Once More. And these two speed away as they come down to the 16th pole. Celtic Chaos and Hit It Once More, and Celtic Chaos is in front. Celtic Chaos and Eric Consell to beat Hit It Once More. Then came Cause for Surprise and New York Zip. Alongside in second. Outside of them, it's Tiz Quick third. And farther out, Lieutenant Shawnee O is in the mix too. Infinite Midnight behind them, and then Gridley here. Here's Lieutenant Shawnee O now. Lieutenant Shawnee O is taking the lead. And going with him is Tiz Quick. These two down to the line together. Lieutenant Shawnee O, Tiz Quick. These two will decide it. Lieutenant Shawnee O will win it. Tiz Quick was second, and then came Juan and Pina and Infinite Midnight. It's a 3-length lead as they come toward the final furlong. Transcend is running in second, then comes Vea third, followed by Channel on the inside, and Britannia's Moat. No texting, now with a 2.5-length lead on Transcend. On the inside comes Channel, and then it's Vea. No texting. Will win it by 2. And then it was Channel, Vea, and Transcend. Here goes Storm Prophet now to take the lead. Storm Prophet has pulled away to a 2-length lead here on the Undersheriff as they come into the final furlong. And Extinct Charm is trying to gain some late ground toward the inside. Storm Prophet in front. Extinct Charm has moved up into second, but Storm Prophet's got it. Storm Prophet to win from Extinct Charm, then the Undersheriff, and Potentially. 45-1 was the half. They're into the stretch. Here's Flexibility now, coming up alongside of Spooked Out. It is Spooked Out and Flexibility. Flexibility runs by. Flexibility has taken the lead. Spooked Out back into second on the inside. New York Song is third. It's Flexibility and Manny Franco, and they've got it. Slow out of the gate, but fast coming to the wire. Flexibility beats Spooked Out. New York Song was third, and then it was Hold the Right Card. 8.5 mile. And into the final furlong, and now Joe Bravo asking Ava's Kitten to go, and she makes her move for the lead outside of Lady Devil. On Leave is third, has to switch to the outside of them. Into the final 16th, Ava's Kitten in front. Lady Devil on the inside, On Leave closing on the outside, but it's Ava's Kitten. Ava's Kitten over Lady Devil, and then it was On Leave and Reimburse.
Ava's Kitten for Chad Brown. Chad won a couple races today, looking for his 4th consecutive Belmont Park Fall training title. By the way, Ava's Kitten capped the pick 6 that paid a little over $500. How about our own Andy Serling picking that ice cold on Talking Horses?
That's strong. You know, it kind of erases some of the wounds of the summer when he had a tough Saratoga, but you can't keep a good handicapper down.
8 for 10 today on the show. Andy will have tomorrow off. We'll have him back with us here Monday, Columbus Day. We do have Cappy, though, tonight. Binocs ready in the stretch run of the 5th. This began the pick 6, and a good-looking Tail the Cat, New York-bred 2-year-old, second time out in Storm Prophet.
Yeah, real nice effort by him. Looked like when he hit the front, Jason, he got to wandering a little bit, and then Jose Ortiz set him down. He kind of reasserted himself. Big, good-looking colt that I think has a lot of development in front of him that he can really improve, but I thought it was a real special effort.
And maybe the best news and best visual of today's 5th race, the Winner's Circle celebration and picture, as we see a healthy, smiling Mike Hushin in the mix.
Well, as good as the horse looked, Mike looked twice as good to me. So, and it was good. I actually watched the race with Mike in the box, and he said, well, if I win, you can hang out with me and watch races. You'll be my good luck charm. If I lose, I don't want to see you.
Take a hike.
Yeah, so I'm invited back. I can watch some more races with Mike, but one of the best horsemen I ever had the privilege of working for and riding for, and a good friend.
And a great person, too. We're glad he's around, glad he's doing well. And Jose Ortiz, speaking of well in general, man, oh man, is he racking up the victories. In fact, just 2 behind Irad Ortiz. The Ortiz brothers sit atop the Belmont Park jockey standings. 4 wins today for Jose, 2 on the card for both Manny Franco and the 5-pound apprentice Eric Consell. Once again, Chad Brown, a nice win with Ava's Kitten in the nightcap. He also had a firster by Bluegrass Cat, a score in race number 6, a New York bred on the dirt. And Chad will look for 4 consecutive Belmont Park training titles during the fall. The Ramseys walked away with a couple of victories today. They've got 5 already, limited starters. Mike Baker's horse is running well so far this meet, halfway home or thereabouts, and a few claims. In fact, the trifecta horses out of race number 1 from Mac Miller down to Ali Sarro were claimed. Berger, who did not run well in the 4th for Chad Brown, claimed for $40K by Steve Asmussen, and the old class New York bred Make a Decision reclaimed by Linda Rice, as we have to claim that final segment and a preview of Sunday at the Palace. Look at that sunset as we send it to break.
Now you can enjoy your favorite pro and fantasy football teams while playing the races in style, as Longshots welcomes back NFL Sunday Ticket. With over 400 HD TVs, 270 individual carols, a full-service sports bar and food menu, Longshots is the place to catch all the great racing and football action. So come on out, bring your friends, bring your league to Longshots, located on the 2nd floor at Aqueduct.
Bob Robato, one of my favorites, winner of the Met Mile a few years ago back in 09 with Brebon. I think a Grand Couturier and his long-running relationship with owner Mark Keller. We digress. Race number 7 here tomorrow. Good-looking 3-and-up maiden race. Captain Tim will take some beating from the outside.
Yeah, no doubt. Captain Tim, I think, is so well posted. He should get in the race the right way. He just missed, I think, in a pretty good field last time. Indian Trail, I should say, was very game along the inside. I hope that this isn't a case of this horse not having a killer instinct. I think we're going to find out for sure tomorrow.
Watch the run from Bokeelia Island first time out. He's trailing, black sleeves, red cap of the Phipps stable, and watch this horse close with a rush. Does he break, or is he broke fine in this race. He just couldn't keep up early.
He just got outfooted, but they did go 21-3, 45 flat, and these horses were stopping, but let's put that aside for a second. This horse finished like a wild horse. He came from the 845 area code running through the 518, and I think he's going to appreciate, particularly with his pedigree, more ground, and certainly his second start to be a little more clued into the proceedings.
New York breds a bit later. State breds, plenty of good ones around. The 2-year-old state bred contingent looks pretty strong so far. Here's 3-and-up in race number 9. One-sided and Force rematch off a close finish in the Albany.
Yeah, one-sided was very good this day. Attended a soft pace and almost got it done. That day, Force was extremely rambunctious in the paddock, washed out badly, acted better last time and ran well. It's important to keep an eye on Force and how he acts in the paddock and in the warm-up, because if he doesn't act properly, he doesn't seem to run his best race.
And just a quick turnaround for Reed the Prospectus, who's in the red cap, 4 wide or so on the better part of the racetrack here. Gold Cup Day, it'll be 8 days between starts.
Well, we've seen David Jacobson have success with this before, although this was, I thought, a gut-wrenching effort to hold on to win by a nose. And sometimes when a horse wins, they can come back quickly. Sometimes when they have to run this hard, you question whether they're going to be all right doing it in 8 days.
And I don't think he's as sharp as he once was with Chad Brown. I'm against Reed the Prospectus in tomorrow's ninth. Wake Up in Malibu, a bit of a wild card, and which effort do we get, or how does he run off a very fast effort in the race we're looking at upstate?
Very fast effort. I also think he's very well posted. You know, you get these outside posts going a mile around one turn at Belmont. Horses can get into the race the right way. They got a long run to the turn, and he was claimed by John Paracella. I think a very sharp claim, and it's good to see John Paracella back where he belongs in New York.
One of the good guys, JP, as we go to MW. That's Maggie Wolfendale with Sunday's Play.
I'm going to take poetic license here for today's Paddock Insider and throw in one of my exactas. We're going to take a look at race number 7. It's a maiden special weight, 4-year-olds and upward, going the mile and a 16th. Going to start with the inside horse. That's number 1, Street Jersey. Very well-bred son of Street Cry, out of Jersey Girl. And Barkley has been keeping him short. Well, I get that. I totally do. But as far as frame is concerned and the way he's put together, I think he should be okay going the mile and a 16th. And 2, he projects to be the speed on paper from that inside post. And maybe he'll get brave on the front end. Another one that I like is a second-time starter, and that is out of the Shug McGahee barn in Bokeelia Island. Who, well, the race might not be that strong that he comes out of, but he did close from way far back first time out, and he was one that I thought would need more ground. So I really like him getting the extra distance tomorrow. So that's your Paddock Insider. It's the Street Jersey, Bokeelia Island exacta. Guys, back to you.
Very solid 3-and-up maiden race. Best of luck to your picks. And keep in mind, it's a Superfecta Sunday here at Belmont. A 10% winner's bonus capped at $50. All the details at NYRA.com. Play some dime supers. Have a good time. The card begins at 12:55. And hopefully, come Sunday's first race, you and I are waxing poetic about a 3-0 New York Rangers start to the season.
How much fun was that win last night by the Rangers? They go down 2-1 late in the third period, and then 3 goals in a minute and 17 seconds. And as much time as it takes to run 6.5 furlongs, they scored 3 goals.
On one of the best goaltenders in the league in Sergei Bobrovsky. Hopefully we get them tonight at MSG as the Rangers open up on home ice. Best of luck. Let's go Rangers, and thanks for joining us on this Saturday edition of Belmont Insider.